Good afternoon. So happy to see you. Today we're talking about how to get out of a creative rut. More specifically, we're talking about how to get out of writer's block. So, what is writer's block? Let's go ahead and define it. Writer's block can be any time that you just sort of feel like the ideas aren't coming, you're not able to write perhaps as freely as you were before. And that could be for a variety of reasons. How do I know? Well, I've been a professional writer for the last 8 years. My name is Halana Black. I'm a professional freelance writer. I also do ghostwriting for thought leaders, as well as help people to write books. And I support people who want to be able to develop their own freelance writing careers. So, I do know some things about uh, getting out of a writer's block firsthand. So, these are some of my suggestions that have worked for me in the past. So, if you're experiencing some sort of writer's block or a creative rut in general, what often works for me is that I find ways to be able to move my energy and the energy that is around me. So if I'm having a writer's block or I'm feeling tired or whatever, I actually have a weighted hula hoop that I keep in my room. And I like to use the weighted hula hoop. You put it around your waist and you twirl it around on your hips. And that's just really just a nice way to sort of break up the energy in your body without having to exert a lot of force. You can also, if you like sports, you can go outside and schedule sports regularly within your schedule. You can go outside for a walk. um, you can stretch. You can do things like cleaning your space. Like if you work in a space that has a lot of clutter, like one of the things that I'm really doing now is I am preparing for a big move to another country. I currently live in Rwanda. I'm about to go to Turkey and Mexico. And one of the things that I know about moving from one country to another is that over time you develop a lot of clutter. So I'm about 3 months out before I actually pack up and move. So one of the things that I want to do is actually just start getting rid of stuff that I know I'm not using, figuring out what needs to be sold and what can be given away. And that really helps. I don't know how to even explain it, but it really just helps to create space and help you to remember. At least for me, for my move, it helps me to remember that I am moving and that I don't have to be so overwhelmed with the stuff that's around me. And that also applies to writer's block. If you're overwhelmed by the stuff that is around you, you want to make sure that you move that stuff. Make sure that you are able to, clean the tabletops and make sure you get rid of dust and open up the windows. That's another beautiful way to be able to move the energy in your space. I love a place with a lot of windows and sunshine and all sorts of other stuff. Um, to get a massage. This is really important because I didn't know this until maybe like almost 5 years ago. Um, the like, not that I've never had a massage before 5 years ago, but I never really paid attention to how it made me feel. I was very uncomfortable with strangers touching me. And so when I started to sort of learn how to take better care of myself, and I had people come in and just sort of work on the shoulder area between the neck and the shoulders. And I realized that I hold a lot of excess energy in this area, just a lot of excess energy that needs to be released. And so if you go to a massage therapist, a quality massage therapist, they can sort of move all of that around on your behalf, and you sort of keep up a good schedule. Once a week is great, but if you can only do it once or twice a month, that'll also work. So that's really important. So move energy in general. The next thing, think about the food that you are eating. And are you eating food that can sort of quickly move through your digestive system? Or are you eating foods that just sort of sit in your gut and ferment? Now, this is not a discussion about whether or not you need to be a vegan, vegetarian, or whatever. But a lot of us eat a lot of things like starches, a lot of beans and rice, plantains and potatoes and all that sort of thing. Not that those things are bad, but I think it's more about some of the things that you might need to add to your diet to help you move some of that stagnant food that's sitting in your belly if you have constipation. Um, Drink more water. Really, just like drinking more water. When I started to drink um, like 3 liters to a gallon of water a day, like I can really just start to feel it's like when you drink the water after a while and it really starts to absorb in your body. It's like you can sort of feel the water. It's almost like it massages the brain, and it's just like I don't know how to explain it to people who are like most people are very dehydrated and they don't know it, and that affects your ability to be creative. If you're dehydrated, you can't think well, you just can't. And so increasing your water, very simple, almost free way to be able to um, help you get out of writer's block or to increase your creativity. You can also eat more fruits. Get yourself some watermelon, any other sort of melon that you can get your hands on is really good. Make fruit smoothies, that sort of thing. And so this is super important, particularly for people who are 40 plus, because what you'll start to notice is that food just does not digest with the same zeal as it did when you were 20. So if you know that you're eating a lot of potato chips, you're eating a lot of junk food, this is really important. I'm not telling you how to eat, what to eat, when to eat. I'm just telling you to add more fruits to what it is that you are eating. Next thing, take some time to move in nature. In nature. I can't tell you how much sunshine has been really important. If you can get sunshine first thing in the morning, like in the first 2 to 3 hours of the sun coming up, that would be ideal. Why? Because sunshine increases the serotonin that's released in your brain. That's the happy hormone. Um, and really, that is what sort of inspires creativity. Writers tend to spend a lot of time sitting in the house by themselves, oftentimes in the dark. Um, and that's often on purpose. For a lot of us, it's just better for us to just be alone and to just be in a hole and to be able to write. Sometimes you got to make time to be able to get out of that hole and join the world and get yourself some sunshine. So you want to sort of break up that time sitting at your desk or wherever it is that you write and go for a walk outside, go watch the birds, um, go watch the insects do whatever insects do along the street. Look at the trees. If you have a space to be able to go outside in like a park and be able to put your feet in the grass, go ahead and enjoy that. That's a nice time. Um, you may also, what is this? Number 4. If you feel like you are going through a creative rut, what you may need to do is to find new ideas or new inspiration. What does that mean? Sometimes when you're writing, and I particularly find this as a nonfiction writer, um, if you sort of keep mulling over the same ideas over and over and over again, and you're just not excited about the idea anymore, perhaps you need to find some new ideas to sort of counter the thing it is that you are writing. And it sort of gets, some new ideas flowing in your brain. Therefore, you'll have more things to write. Or perhaps you need to get your brain off of the thing that you are writing about. Go listen to something that's funny. Um, get into, a new drama, something else that has absolutely nothing to do with what you're writing about. And being able to do that sort of helps you to come up with new ideas. So you're talking about books, podcasts, articles, whatever. Bonus, if you can actually spend some time to actually talk about the thing that you read or listened to with a friend or family member or whomever. Why? Because writers tend to spend a lot of time alone, which is fine. I'm an extreme introvert. I spend a lot of time alone. But I also know that it's a really good idea for me. I am able to work better when I'm able to um, schedule some sort of together time with other people of like minds. That's really important to do. So get out of being alone, find some new ideas, and talk about what those new ideas are with some other people. The next thing, if you're finding that doing all those things that involve movement doesn't work for you, then perhaps you need to consider that you may need some rest. You may need some rest. Did you sleep enough hours? For most people, we need between 6 to 8 hours. In order for you to be able to figure out what you need, you just have to do sort of experiments with yourself. Um, and the reason is because a tired brain is just really hard to be creative. If you, I listen to people sometimes, they're like they're trained themselves to be able to get through the day on 3 to 4 hours of sleep, but their body is sort of torn and worn down in other ways. And so they might be super productive because they train themselves to be super productive. But is that really worth it? Like, I don't really think it's worth it. I'm trying to be here for the long term. And I like to talk to people who also want to be here for the long term. I'm not really interested in, um, super productivity. There's a difference between being creative and being, super productive or even busy. Um, so I want the things that I create to be helpful to people, to be supportive, and I also want to be around to be able to see the fruits of my labor. And in order for you to be around and to see and experience the fruits of your labor, you do have to be healthy in order for that to happen. So rest is super, super important. Figure out what hours of the day that you work best in. Um, then figure out how to be able to get some deep sleep. Like I'm at a point now where like 9 p.m. I'm really done. I want to get to a point where I'm sleep by 9 p.m., but now I'm starting to shut it down at 9 o'clock and I can be in bed by 10. And so I can get up by 6 or 7 in the morning. And that really works for me. I like to be able to be up to watch the sun come up and to be able to spend an hour in meditation outside on my porch in the sunshine. That's important to me. That's important to my creativity and that's important to my self care. Um, for the most part, I don't take any caffeine. I don't drink soda. You might see me with a Coke once a year. Same thing with coffee. Um, or any sort of like a tea, like a black tea. If it's not herbal tea, I don't want it. And sugar, I will avoid at all costs. Like I've stopped eating things like oatmeal in the morning because it sort of wrecks, my day, and it really sort of it makes me tired. I don't like the way it makes me feel. White sugar, I don't take, but even when I take brown sugar, I don't enjoy it. I might have honey sometimes. It doesn't seem to um, affect me as much as white or brown sugar does. But yeah, knowing how to rest that's really a skill. I remember there was a point in my life when my adrenal glands were just broke down. My liver was just not doing what it was supposed to do. It was just clogged and not functioning properly. And because of that, it was very, very hard for me to get to sleep. And so, because it was so hard for me to get to sleep, I would just overwork because I was just up and I just needed something to do. But what that did was it just continued to tear down, it increased the wear and tear on my brain, when I really needed to be able to figure out how to get rid of this anxiety that I had. I don't have it anymore, thank God. And that was a long process of learning how to be able to get rid of it. And I'm not even sure I really had a protocol or a list of things to do on how I got rid of my anxiety. It was just a number of things that I did over time, and I realized one day I was like, oh, I don't have anxiety anymore, which was funny. But I what one of the things that I'm doing is I'm writing that process of learning how to take care of myself, and a lot of those problems, those health problems that I had, really just sort of took care of itself. Took care of itself. Rest is important. So that's all I have for you today. Quick recap: how to get out of a creative rut. Number one is to move your energy. Find a way to move. Do a hula hoop, clean, walk, all sorts of things. Number two, what food are you eating? What food are you eating? Eat more fruits. That's my big thing to you. Eat more fruits. I'm not telling you what to eat. I'm just telling you to add more fruits. I don't care what type of a human being you are or where you come from. Everybody on the planet can benefit from adding more sweet, watery fruits to their diet. Number three, find a way to move in nature. Get yourself some sunshine, preferably in the first 2 hours of the morning. Go outside and walk, just to be able to increase some of that serotonin in your brain, and it inspires creativity. Number four, find a way to get yourself exposed to some new ideas. Listen to podcasts, audiobooks, read some books, read some new articles, and then talk about those things that you are exposing yourself to with other people who are also interested in the same thing. Writers spend entirely way too much time sitting by themselves, and your creativity can be, you can grow your creativity by being around other people. And also, you need to be able to rest. Finally, we just talked about this. Rest is important to your health, wellness, and your personal development. So, that's all I have for you today. If you enjoy this content, please like, subscribe, share it with another freelance writer who wants to improve their career. Now, if you want to be able to talk to someone like myself, who went from making $25 on the low end for a 500-word blog post to making between 500 and even making as much as $1,500 for a blog post, then I would be happy to help you. I'm doing one on one consultations with people who are in the early stages of their freelance writing career. So you can go to the link in the description, click on the link in the description, or you can just go to helanablack.com and click on freelance writer coaching. That's all I have for today. Peace.